of the actors. Capacity issues, I think there's been a lot of work that is in the pipeline by several of you to strengthen that part. Issues of asymmetry of information, that was exactly the discussion we had in the previous session. The mismatch between hydrological and administrative boundaries that we call the administrative gap, and that goes into the effectiveness of river basin organizations, the effectiveness of the basin scale as the governance scale, which is something that can also be further developed to dispel some of the myths and divergent objectives across policy areas. What we saw also, despite these common governance challenges, is that you have a wide variety of tools and initiatives that can help bridge them. The OECD has done some work, but not only us, of course, several of you around the table. And what we tried to do to set the scene for this discussion that we started 6 months ago in the OECD Water Governance Initiative is to prepare this inventory, which is available online, which attempts at capturing all what we have seen or found with best research and policy dialogue with the different stakeholders in terms of water governance tools, initiatives, and platforms. So it's a very user-friendly version where you have the key messages that come out of it, the hyperlink and the institution that is behind, and that is meant to support this sort of one-stop shop of what we think is already there and that needs to be used as a stock-taking exercise before moving forward in the development of principles. How do we want to get there? We set up this OECD Water Governance Initiative. That's a policy forum. We're gathering every 6 months. I would say roughly that 1/3 of the people around the table are a member of the network. It has a three-tier structure, as you see, 4 different working groups with the collective outcome to produce, with a bottom-up fashion within each of these 4 working groups, these inputs that will feed into a consolidated version of OECD principles to be discussed in the coming month. And together with that, and that's definitely the bridge with the previous session, a set of indicators that can help track the implementation of each of these principles. So the 2 sessions of this afternoon are really going hand in hand. And for each of the principles that will be put on the table, there will be a set of indicators that can help measure their effectiveness and implementation. An important thing that is there and that you can see is that we're trying to reach out also other regions outside the OECD. And we have a few institutions that are helping us in Latin America, for example. That's the case of the Spanish Cooperation Agency, Chile and Mexico. With Africa, we have the African Ministerial Council on Water and South Africa. In the MENA region, we have GWP-MED, we have the Union for the Mediterranean, we have ADB, NARBO, and other institutions in Asia, and Turkey and the European Commission are helping for the European Union. This is my almost last slide. I have 2 left. To say that we're concentrating on 4 pillars, and there are a lot of issues that are cross-cutting and will be overarching in the principles. So the work that we're doing now in this session in particular on integrity and transparency is one of the 4 pillars. So it's important to keep that in mind for the discussion. There is in parallel a similar effort which is going on basin governance, on stakeholder engagement, and on the governance of water supply and sanitation, which goes to issues of economic regulation, capacity building at the local level. And I will conclude with the slide that is showing the timeline for the principles. We're quite upstream in the process. We will have a first discussion of the different working groups at the end of April during the 3rd meeting of the Water Governance Initiative, which will take place in Madrid. In Spain. We will, as OECD Secretariat, use the inputs from the different working groups to produce a first consolidated draft, zero draft, non-draft of OECD principles.